Hi, and welcome back, dog mums and dads, to another episode of the Natural Dog Mum podcast. We are here today with the lovely Sarah. Her brand is called Kelpy Bone, and I have to tell you, I'm a little bit obsessed. I'm going to let Sarah tell you all about it and what it is and why it's so good and all the rest of it. I will just say that it is a healthy dog chew that has a whole bunch of other benefits and is great for dogs that, for whatever reason, can't have raw bones. So, very, very excited to talk to her and let you guys know more about her amazing product. So, stick around. I'm so excited to let people know about your product. Everyone
Thank
I
you.
have told, and I have been telling people left and right about you, everyone I've told is just, oh my God, that's brilliant. Unbelievable. So you're probably going to get some more inquiries and some more calls because there's a couple of retailers and like independent pet stores that I've mentioned, yeah, that were interested.
Thank you so much. I feel like it's been such a journey to get here. I mean, I was talking to Nopla, who's the person that I sourced the seaweed from like 2 years ago now, and it kind of just started as such like a little dream. And then, yeah, it feels so good that it's finally here now, honestly. And yeah, I'm so excited to bring out all the different seaweed products, to be honest.
It's just such a great idea. I don't know why someone didn't do it sooner, but good for you that they didn't.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
tell us a little bit about where the idea sprung from.
When I started, my dogs really loved those, like, I don't know if you've seen them, but you know those plastic dog toys that have like beef flavor in them
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
peanut butter flavor?
Yeah.
Well, my dogs loved them, and then one day they were chewing them, and because my day job is in the sustainability sector, they were chewing them, and I was like, this the plastic's coming out the other end because of course dogs eat everything. So they just ended up eating, and then I was like, this is so wrong. So then I was like, I need to fix this. And I couldn't find like, one of my dogs is allergic to like rawhide and it doesn't sit well with her. And so I
But
was
you
like, I
don't
need
want
to
to see
fix
rawhide
this.
anyway. It's horrible stuff.
Exactly, because I didn't know that at the time. And then like I was doing all this research into it and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many things. And I was chatting to my vet, and my vet was like, you've got to be super careful with meat bones and like if they I just got this like laundry list of things, and I was like, I just need to make something that my dogs can have, like, because they're chewers. I mean, you know how some dogs just love to chew? That is my dog.
Yes, mine.
They just that's all they wanna do. I think especially because for me, like, I'll give them a Kelpie bone to make them settle as well because, working dogs after they've been for a run around, I feel like sometimes they just need a hand
Yeah,
calming down.
calming down.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, I've got retrievers and exactly the same, especially
Same
after they've
thing.
had a big run or they've been out and they've been socializing with their mates, all that kind of thing. Sometimes they need just a little bit, of an extra hand, and it's not just the
Totally.
chewing and the fact that it's good for their teeth and their gums and everything. It's that form of enrichment and it's really soothing for them too.
Totally. Like I was reading this research study and it was talking about dogs and when they chew and all the happy hormones that get
Yep,
released, like
all the
serotonin
endorphins.
and dopamine. Yeah. And like how important it is for them to be able to have that outlet, just like when they dig in the yard or something. Like it's just a dog
Yeah, yeah.
thing to do. So I really wanted to, like, that's why I started because I would love to bring out lots of different toys that aren't made of like just redesigned toys that are already made of plastic, but make them out of seaweed. But the first one I chose was the bone because I was just like, it just makes sense for my dogs, and I was selfish. I was like, maybe I'll recreate something I want.
No, but it's good because that's where so many great business ideas come from. You're solving a problem for yourself,
That's true. That is
you
true.
know?
Yeah,
And it's a
and I
problem that
feel
a lot of
yeah,
other owners have as well. I mean, they don't want them chewing on yucky, raw smelling bones in the house and
yeah,
marking the furniture. Everything smells like death. And then you've got dogs that
true.
can't digest them or they haven't got the teeth for them, what have you. So, it's a great option that's healthy, that's sustainable, it's not going to splinter, and you don't have that
Yeah.
smell.
Totally. Like when we were designing the bones, we really wanted to make sure that when the dogs chew them, it like crumbles off so that you don't have that problem with like sharp edges or splintering. Because
Yeah, yeah.
that's another thing that my dogs would do. They would chew like crazy, and then their gums would be bleeding, and I would
Mm,
just be like, "Oh my god, what are you doing to yourselves?" Like, they'd get so
yeah.
excited and they'd chew so like, aggressively almost. But yeah, it was so interesting when I was trying to find something like, before I found Nopla, who are the people that I get the seaweed from, I was, like, looking all over and I was like, what could I make this bone out of? Like, because when I looked for sustainable options, my dogs didn't really love like a lot that was already there. So I was like, what's going to really make them excited? And then when I did find Nopla, I was like, oh, my vet was talking about how great seaweed is. And I know from a sustainability perspective, seaweed is so good for the environment. It takes in carbon more than land based forests do. And it's a regenerative plant, so it means it just grows really quickly, so we're not taking up land where our food would be grown or anything like that, as it's in the ocean. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, this is a perfect material."
Absolutely. And not only the fact that it's good for their dental health, it's good for their general
Yeah.
health as well. Just so many, so many vitamins and minerals and all the good stuff in there. I mean, it's normally something you would be looking at adding to their bowl anyway.
Yeah, yeah, totally, and I think so many people focus on their food, and, everyone's buying great well, a lot of people are buying great quality food now, and I felt like there was a real gap with their toys. Like, if we're buying quality dog food, we shouldn't be feeding them toys that are made from plastic because microplastics shed off so easily off toys, and there's all this research, especially here in Australia now, we're banning a lot of chemicals that go into plastic. So I was like, this just doesn't make sense. If it's so harmful to human health and our wildlife, and in Australia we've got so many microplastics even in our soil. I thought, why not? Let's just redesign this. There's no point for us to have plastic anymore just for our dogs.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about, because I'm curious, how they actually use the seaweed to make the bones?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. It was an interesting process for me to learn. So basically, Nopla takes seaweed, and when you have plastic is made out of little pellets. Basically, it's like little before you process plastics, it's all these little pellets. So Nopla, through their technology, they take the seaweed and then they basically make it into little pellets that are like plastic resin, but they're not plastic. And then I got like a little injection mold made, and it's kind of made exactly the same way that a plastic toy would be made. It runs through a machine and then is like stamped into kelpy the kelpy bone shape that you can see now. But it was kind of an interesting process because it's seaweed. It doesn't act anything like plastic through the design process. So we had which is why it took us a while to get the product to market, it was a lot of learning on how to process the material because it isn't plastic, so it's very thick. It's kind of difficult to work with in comparison to plastic. So yeah, it was really cool. It was a really good learning curve in the way that I think when going forward, when we make other toys, we're going to know how to make it because I've had quite a few people ask me for like different enrichment toys, and so we're going to be coming out with a super chewer bone, so like a big kelpy bone for like,
Mm,
your dogs with like really strong jaws. Because I've had quite a few people ask me for that. Some
oh,
people
yeah.
have asked me for puppy versions that are a little bit smaller. So yeah, it's basically just poured through a machine. Sorry, that was a really long-winded way of saying.
No, that's all right. I was just curious how you got from A to B, but that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, the material scientists at Nopla are amazing. They when they made this technology because originally Kelpy Bone was so I saw on Nopla's website a little spoon and they made single-use cutlery with the material that I use. And I was like, if it's made into a spoon, surely I can make it into a dog toy. And then Nopla, like very kindly, I reached out to them and I was like, "I wanna make a dog toy out of it," and I'm sure they went back to their office and they were like, "What is this girl talking about?" But they were nice and they listened to me, and yeah, we're here now, so I'm very thankful to that team for all the work that they've put in making such a cool product because I think seaweed is gonna save the world, personally.
The list of benefits is just, as long as your arm. I mean,
Totally.
besides the environmental and the sustainability side of things, it's just so good for them. There's
So
There's
true.
no limit really. It's just your
Definitely.
imagination and coming up with different sizes, different shapes, different, different
Yeah,
concepts and playing around with it. It's amazing stuff.
definitely. And I think I was quite frustrated before I started Kelpy Bone, always because my background is in sustainability. I'd always see kind of the health, and I'm a dog mum. Like my dogs are my children.
Yeah.
So
So,
I was yeah, you get it. I feel like a lot of people get it. Um, so I was really frustrated when I went to the pet store and I couldn't find any, like, brands that I could see myself in, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, I want a natural dog toy that isn't gonna, like, look boring or, like, I want it to be fun, and when we were creating the brand, my friend Izzy did the branding for us, and I really just wanted the whole thing to feel like, like community driven. So when you come into Kelpy Bone or you buy a Kelpy Bone product, you're a part of a group of people who really care about their dogs, they care about the planet, they want a healthier life for their dog and all of us, I guess. So yeah, I was
no, I
kind
think
of
it's a great way to approach it. It's when you do it in a way that is creating that sense of community, it has that feeling of warmth and being inviting and, oh yeah, I want to be a part of that. It's
totally,
definitely the way to go, and it's a really, really good way to not only introduce people, but to keep building on that and introduce new products and introducing educational elements like your
that's so
social
true.
media posts that you're doing. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do with that that goes well beyond one product.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think people are really looking, or I know in myself, I'm really looking for that community with dogs. Like, I mean, I think people are kind of I think a lot of people, I feel like, especially a lot of my friends, but they're not having children, their dogs are kind of their kids, and, like,
Hmm.
we want those, like, dog moms we can get a coffee with and talk about the new food we're gonna give them and obsess over that stuff. So I felt like Kelpie Bone yeah, you're the same. If we went for a coffee,
Oh
we
yeah.
would do the same thing.
Oh, totally.
They're our children.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's definitely the direction that things are going in the industry. We're just a little bit slow to catch on to new things sometimes in Australia. I mean, if you look at some of the brands overseas, US, Canada, UK, and Asia as well, in terms of sustainability, in terms of healthy products, in terms of raw feeding and those sorts of things, they've got so many more options than we do at the moment. But I mean, we'll get there.
Totally, it's amazing, and I think I just found out this morning that, we're gonna be in Pop-Up Grocer in New York, which is like a little store over Christmas time, so
Oh my
I'm really excited about
god.
that. Yeah, I was like, because I also I see what you're talking about with the US brands, and I look over there, I'm like, "I wish that we had that type of thing here sometimes." Like, they're really moving towards, like, the we do have quite a few, like, great brands, but I just feel like they have so many as the
Yeah,
US normally
yeah.
does, but yeah, so it's
I think
interesting.
your product will do really well over there because there's nothing that I'm aware of at this point in North America that compares with Kelpie Bone. So, be prepared to be very busy.
I hope so. I'm still working full time. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, I still work full time while balancing health bones. So at the moment, I wake up at 4 a.m. and then I do 2 hours of work before I start, and then I work, and then I do afterwards. I'm like, oh, hopefully I can go and like be able to, it be busy and it grow like that. But I think it's kind of fun bootstrapping it and doing like going through that because I feel like you get such a huge buy-in to the company
Oh,
because
yeah.
you do have to do it in all hours of, you know, whenever you can kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a sensible way to do it. I mean, you don't want to be living in a tent and eating 2-minute noodles sort of thing. Doing it that way is smart.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
it's so true.
I was just saying off camera, I did the same thing when I launched my first business. I kept my full-time job as well, as long as I possibly could.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's also something that isn't spoken about enough is that a lot of people that is what you have to do when you start a business. So I know it is great when, both of us speak out on that, but I think sometimes you can see on social media these people who are working on their business full time and that's not the reality for a lot of people. And you can
No, it's
still,
not.
you know Yeah,
And things
exactly.
like
And I think
raising capital, those sorts of things as well.
yeah,
Again, that's not realistic for everybody.
no,
I mean,
exactly.
pretty much everyone that I know who's ever had a business, it started as a side hustle.
Yeah, me too. And I think, like a big part of when I was building Kelpie and I really wanted to be really out there in the fact that I live in a van, I have a full-time job, like all these things was because I think that there's so many people that have really good ideas but don't go after them because they're like, "Oh, I've got work," or, all those bits and
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah, true. But a lot of us are also bored sometimes in our full time jobs. And so,
Yeah,
it's a way that you can experiment without losing that security. Or you might love your full time job, but you love this other thing too. And there's no reason why, you can't do both, at least for a while, and see where it goes. Well, I know that you've got another meeting that you've got to get to, so we will let you go. But thank you so much. It's been so lovely chatting with you, and we need to catch up again, I think.
thank you so much.